Good afternoon. Thanks for being here at the Foundation Luncheon. As I was considering my remarks for today over the last couple of days, I thought of the daily journal I kept along the way on the ride across America. Every night, I would jot down my thoughts related to our activities throughout the day. The primary reason behind that being my fear of not remembering the visuals of the people and the places we had encountered. I thought my prelude to that journal might be something that I share with you this afternoon. The concept and the idea of riding across America to raise awareness and change the dialogue regarding suicide, depression, and mental illness in this country was brought to us by Isaac. It was totally his idea. My initial reaction was, not surprisingly, one of shock and amazement. It took some time for me to wrap my head around the idea, but the more I thought about the ride, the more I was convinced we needed to do it. This country, since the beginning, has achieved much, but the current dialogue concerning suicide, depression, and mental health has to change. The stigma attached to these conditions needs to disappear. Treating them as we treat the likes of cancer, diabetes, and other diseases needs to become the new standard. Finding the ways, means of treating brain disease has to continue to improve and improve quickly. So this is my journal. It's dedicated to our sweet Jordan Elizabeth. It's dedicated to her brothers Matt and Seth, to her sister Alicia, and to her mom Ellen. And it's dedicated to the thousands of people who are struggling today and the thousands of people that we have lost to suicide. So that's the start of my journal. And I have 73 days worth of ride information and activity that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, but someday I'll figure it out. People think I should write a book. I don't know if I'm up to that, but we'll see. I'd like to recognize the importance and the meaning of today's events. It's truly not about me and Isaac and our accomplishment associated with the Light the Trail ride across our country. It's about remembering and honoring those we've lost to suicide resulting from depression and mental illness. It's about continuing the conversation and ridding this country of the stigma attached to these conditions. It's about doing more to study the brain and developing assessment protocols to more quickly diagnose those who need help. I'd like to take just a minute and thank those organizations that have supported us financially for today's luncheon. First of all, Office Equity Solutions, Institute for, please hold your applause, we'll do that afterwards, Institute for Advanced Psychiatry, Mesa Springs, Raymond James, Medical City North Hills, Modern Woodman, Peloton, engineering firm, Sierra Bank, UNT Health Science Center, Vincent Genovese Foundation, Tina Hearn Realtors, the University of Texas at Arlington, MGM Printing, Pinnacle Bank, and RGR Architects. Let's give these folks a quick round of applause. And then, very quickly, I'd like to also recognize those people who supported us on Light the Trail Ride. The HILLWOOD Organization, a Perot Company, Alliance Texas, Hope Providers, Trinity Works, Global Prairie, the Alekeina Foundation, First Data, Republic Title, World Fuels, Enterprise Rental Car, George and Kathy Manning, Sam Pack 5-Star Ford, RPGA Architects, Bell Helicopter, Whitley Penn, Worldwide Flight Services, South Jersey, thank you. It's a good thing I got family here. Ian and Mary Margaret Graham, Bill and Peg Ryan, Nancy Perot, DuBose Family Foundation, and John and Peggy Bender. Round of applause for those folks. We have been incredibly fortunate And I think it's important to let everybody know in the audience that along the way, we've had a lot of people who not only shared their story with us, but also has supported us financially. And I want to announce today that we are somewhere between $950,000 and $1 million raised from the ride that Isaac and I and our lovely wives and Dyer just took. There are dozens of volunteers that Isaac has already mentioned, and I want to again thank everybody who made this luncheon possible. Needless to say, we were concerned and worried that we would be able to get this done and pull this off if it weren't for the volunteers in the audience today to make this luncheon happen. We wouldn't be here today with this fantastic route. So thank you again to all the volunteers. Special thanks to Kara Reardon. Kara, where are you? Please stand up. So Kara's with the foundation, and she was a lifesaver while we were away, and we really appreciate you running the day-to-day operations of the foundation while we were gone. So a huge shout out to you, Kara. Thanks. Now I'd like to introduce our recently named Executive Director of the Foundation, Christina Judge. Christina, will you stand up, please? Christina comes to us from the North Texas philanthropic community with great and significant experience and passion for the cause. Please take a minute to introduce yourself, if you would, and welcome her to our mental health community here in Fort Worth. And a belated welcome, Christina. We're excited about having you on board. As we close our program for the day, I wanted to share some specific program activities that will give you an idea of how our foundation allocates its financial resources in our community. Last year, we supported the University of Texas Southwestern Center for Depression Research with a $50,000 grant. The center focuses on studying effective approaches for identifying and treating depression. More specifically, the grant supports research to examine factors associated with adolescent suicidal behaviors and research to determine factors dealing with resilience in youth. A huge shout out to Dr. Trivedi for his efforts and his leadership with these studies. Over the last 4 years, we have provided a total of 150,000 gallons. I think I'm at work. Oh well, forgive me. $150,000 in grant funding to the University of Texas Southwestern research efforts associated with depression research. Our efforts with the Hope Squad programs in our schools continues, with the programs now being in White Settlement ISD in 8 schools. That now makes 13 schools in Tarrant County, including 5 in Fort Worth ISD. This peer support program empowers selected students to take action to improve school environment and help those students most in need and those who may be at risk. Our plan is to continue to expand the Hope Squad program into other North Texas schools. We provided transportation to Camp Kita in Maine for 8 children, a camp specifically for children who are survivors of family members lost to suicide. The foundation funded a family advocate position this year in the Trauma Support Services Group of the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office. This position supports family members of those lost to suicide by providing information, resources, support, and therapeutic services. And as Isaac mentioned earlier, we also partnered with 25 Fort Worth nonprofit organizations to collectively provide QPR suicide prevention training to over 2,000 gatekeepers in our community. The research efforts and programs are just some of the examples of how we use your dollars given in the past. Everyone in this room today, along with hundreds of others in our North Texas community, allows this foundation the opportunity to provide the funding and the services we just mentioned. We plan to grow and do more for those most in need. We met a lot of people along the ride, and we shared our story. And we always, and I do mean always, we always got one back about a loved one lost or someone struggling in their family. So one of the stories that I wanted to share with you all, we were in, I believe, Montana, and we were lucky enough, if we were in a Hampton Inn or a Fairfield Inn, to get breakfast every morning. And there was always somebody who was responsible for putting that breakfast together in those hotels. And there was an elderly lady that probably was in her early 70s, and she saw us in our jerseys, and she walked up to us and she asked about what we were doing. We shared our story. And of course, we got a story back about somebody in her family that she had lost. And then she looked at Isaac and said, "You know, Isaac, I don't have a lot of money, but here's $1 to contribute towards your efforts." And it was a moment that I will never forget, and that Isaac will never forget, and one of many that we had along the way. Okay, so let me stop balling up here. I used to make fun of Isaac for crying all the time, but I guess I'm catching his condition. So, now I'd ask everyone in this room to support us going forward by taking the pledge card to your table, filling it out, and provide it back to your table captain. I believe we are making a difference in this community. I hope you do too. May peace be with all of you. May God bless you. Have a great day. We are adjourned.